Well, relationships are a main component in our lives. They can either work to build us up, or sometimes, unfortunately, they can tear us down. It is often said that the people we choose to surround ourselves with always say a lot about who we are as people. So joining us today in our very own My Empowerment series is our empowerment coach, Boaz, to share his take on why we should be aware of the kind of people that we interact with on a daily basis. Welcome back, Boaz.
Thank you, Danielle. Glad to be here.
You have, I think, a couple of interesting terms to describe people. You call one side of the equation the building crew, the other side of the equation the wrecking crew. Tell me about these folks.
This is really important. As you just said a moment ago, who we surround ourselves with makes all the difference in the world.
It does.
In fact, there was a survey once made that the income you make is usually within 10% of the people you hang around. So if you hang around people who aren't doing very well, that's probably the way you're going to be. But if you hang around people who are very successful and making more money, that's probably the way you're going to be, because we are affected greatly by the people who we surround ourselves with.
I do agree with that. Now, let me ask you, building crew, wrecking crew, where did you come up with these titles?
I really have no idea, but
Right.
It really defines these people very clearly. So people who are part of the wrecking crew are people who are always going to criticize us. What makes you think you could do that? You will never accomplish more than you've already accomplished. That's somebody who wants to tear you down. They're part of the wrecking crew. But the other folks who are in the minority are the building crew. They will say, Danielle, you can do it. I see it in you. You are a champion. Go for it. They will encourage you to move up. The others will pull you backwards to their level.
Why is it important to be able to recognize who is who? Because I have to tell you, in all of our lives, my own life included, I have some people, you know, on the wrecking crew, very few, but there are some people. The majority are on the building crew, but sometimes, Boaz, it's hard to recognize those wrecking crew people because they don't always present themselves as wrecking crew people.
Oh, they're disguised, yes. They have a weird way of disguising, and they will do it with subtle comments. A comment like, that will never work, gives you an indication somebody could be part of the wrecking crew. It doesn't mean we want to get away from them permanently, but we should be careful how much time we spend with them. So it's like limiting your exposure. You know, when we go out in the sunshine, they've sold us on the fact that we should use sunscreen to limit our exposure to the sun. It's important for vitamin D, but too much of it can cause sunburns or it can cause cancer. So we need to do the same thing with people who are part of the wrecking crew. The moment we start recognizing anything, watch if that is a pattern, and if it is, limit your exposure as much as possible.
And I do need to rephrase something. I only have one person who's on the wrecking crew in my life, but it's interesting because I like the person a lot, just a naturally negative person. But how do we kind of kindly or gently ease that person out of our lives? Or do we need to ease them out of our lives altogether?
Again, I go back to the term limit the exposure.
Just limit it.
Yes, if there's no way you can totally stay away from that person, which would be ideal because that's poison to our mind, then you just limit your exposure. If they're starting to be negative about a topic, say, I wish we could talk further about this, but I need to go. I need to go take care of my kids. I need to go take care of something at work. Find a way to move away from that, because that is poison that goes into our minds that is not going to help us.
Yeah, I understand that, but here's the part of it that can be kind of a sticky area. What if that wrecking crew person is a member of your own family?
Well, the same thing we have to be careful of. Spend some time if you need to, but too many people will allow those people to monopolize their time and allow them to give them more and more of their negative thoughts, and then they end up having problems because they've allowed that poison to get in. So I'm just saying, limit the exposure as much as possible, but most people don't have any guard on the doorpost of their brain.
Right. But don't you think that sometimes these wrecking crew people need us in order to turn their own negativity into positivity? Because in my own personal situation, that's why I'm hanging on. I'm holding on to hope that I can change this person.
Okay, the bottom line, the thing I learned is I cannot really change anybody.
Oh.
I'm a professional speaker. I cannot motivate anybody to do anything. All I can do is share ideas, and then they've got to pick them up. And if they don't, I can't help them. Because the only way I can totally motivate somebody is by holding your hand all the time and helping you every moment of the day. But then when I walk away, you fall. So it is not our responsibility to run anybody else's life. Our responsibility is to take care of us, because that's the only way we can then help anybody else.
No, it's true. As my mother used to always say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Exactly. Exactly.
As always, great advice, and great to see you again, Boaz.
A pleasure, Danielle.
And if you'd like more useful tips and helpful insight on the relationships in your own life, please go to our website, thebalancingact.com, and click on the Boaz link. And while you're there, you can also inquire as to how you can hire Boaz for speaking engagements, and you'll be able to sign up for his weekly Power Note. So be sure to check it all out right there on the website.